Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Lockeroom podcast. I'm Daryl Natil, and it's week one, baby boy. Big week one of the NFL, not NFL, but NCAA college football season. Tonight, got two of my favorite guys on, BCU Hall of Famer and BCU SID. First of all, let's talk to the Hall of Famer in the top right, Mr. Willie Jackson. Say hello to the folks, Willie.
How y'all doing, everybody? Nice to be with Daryl and talk about Wildcat football.
And I got the man with the plan, the man who helps everybody out in athletic department. He oversees 15 sports and writing articles, doing podcasts, doing social media. Mr. Bryce Honoski. Say hello to the folks.
And yet somehow, man, it's the first time I'm on this joint, man. I know you've been doing this for a minute. I'm excited to be here. Man, we even just today, if today was an indication, everything we work on, I did some cross country stuff. I was down at Moore Gym working on volleyball stuff, football. We're here, man. I'm ready to get going. I'm so ready for football to just kick off on Saturday. It has been a long time coming, and it's just like that anticipation of just waiting on it. I'm just ready to roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, football season. Football is the big cat. We don't say the big dog. It's the big cat in Wildcat country, and we're going down to South Florida. University of South Florida. First ever meeting, I think, in football. The South Florida Bulls in Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But they're getting a new ballpark soon. We're going down to Tampa to play the Bulls. So before all that happens, there's been some things in the works, some organization going on. And I'm going to let Mr. Jackson, the Hall of Famer, I'm going to tell you, before I get into this is going on my 60th year, 6-0. Around Wildcat football. I was a ball boy at age 6 and 7. I remember when this guy was a free safety for the Wildcats. He wore number 42, and he was a big, tall guy, Mr. Willie Jackson. Willie, talk to us about some of the things that you guys got going the morning of the game.
Well, the morning of the game, we are doing a kickoff breakfast for the Wildcat Champions Club, which is a booster club for all athletics. That's not football, it's for everything. And we have about 80 guests coming in. So we just had a meeting on how we're going to go over the things we're trying to accomplish. So we're looking forward to real good things this year. Last year, we were kind of like, trying out our wings. So now we're ready to fly. And I hope we come this year and raise money for the athletic program of Bethune-Cookman. We have different levels of the Champions Club, all the way from, I think, at a low $50 up to $1,200. But there's benefits of all levels. And we're planning a lot of things, like we're honoring teams this year from 1974, 1994, and 2004 and 2014 at the Classic. That we're getting all those guys together and, bringing back memories that they beat A&M in those years. So we got a lot of things going. We created an influxer that helped the kids. We're trying to do things with adopted kids being adopted, by families, and then we're trying to get out of town people now say, well, we can adopt kids, but you got to stay in the rules and regulations. But I think the Champions Club is going to do well, and we invite everybody to come, even if you're a member of Bethune-Cookman or alumni, friends, family, fans, everybody.
So the money goes to all athletics. Can you earmark dollars to football?
Yeah, we're going to earmark dollars to football. Now, if you, when I pay my money goes to football. Now, if a basketball player want to earmark his money to basketball, he can. So that's how it goes. If you just want to go to athletics, it goes to athletics. And that's the discrepancy of the athletic department to do it what they want. But you can earmark, it goes directly to football if you want. Yeah.
So how do one get in touch with the Champions Club?
Well, the Champions Club, you can go online. We have a link. If you go to cookman.edu and you can click on, how to donate or join the Champions Club. You come up, and then just say, if you say, okay, well, I want to join, and you join, and then you put on a donor wall. So everybody who gives, you gave. If you don't want to put your name on there, you don't have to. But if you want to, you can.
Okay. So, Bryce, coming into the season, we got the Bulls in South Florida, but before that, we've had a lot of new changes on the roster, a lot of new ball players, in and out the portal. Coach Woody has done a fantastic job bringing in some new kids.
Yeah, just 51 returners from last year. It's a lot of new guys. That doesn't mean that everybody who is still around isn't valuable parts of this team as well. We just announced the team's leadership roster, or the leadership council is the word they use for it, as well as their captains. A lot of familiar faces up and down that list. Luke Sprague, obviously one of them. Clayton Thomas, another all SWAC guy. So they got some valuable veterans on this team. But, man, the high-powered portal guys that Coach Woody has been able to bring in is a lot of fun. There's guys on both sides of the ball. There's guys that can do a little bit of everything. You've got your high-powered Power 5 guys from places like Colorado State, Cal, Washington State, Arizona State, Arizona. You got guys coming in from all over the country, and it's a new ball game now. I mean, the transfer portal has completely changed the way that we do collegiate football at every level. And you can easily look at these guys and say, oh, well, they're downturns from other bigger universities that didn't want them. There's a reason that they're here and not staying around at those places. But, man, there are some big-time players who've decided to come here because of the recruiter that Coach Woody is. And you'll hear a lot about it if you watch a lot of the USF coverage this week, especially on their side, because of how valuable of a recruiter that he was with the Bulls and everywhere he's been. And if there has ever been a guy that is as equipped properly to deal with the new age of college football when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to selling people on a place like Bethune-Cookman, you will want to come play here, then it's Coach Woody. And I think he's done a great job. And I think that's why you see kind of Bethune-Cookman in a lot of those podcasting, a lot of those media circles, is this kind of dark horse team that, who knows what could happen as soon as we get to conference season.
I get a lot of calls from former players and, want to know what's going on. And one of the positions that I'm always asked about is the quarterback position. We know last year it was like a carousel. We had so many injuries, guys going in and around and around. Talk to us about this young man right here, Luke Sprague.
Well, Luke Sprague got a little bit of a bad shake last year. And if you watch the USF game this week, I think you will probably be disappointed not to see him play, but it's for very good reason. Because if you look back at Coach Woody's year last year and you think about maybe the one true mistake that you can point to say that Coach Woody made is that Miami game, is throwing Luke Sprague out to the Wolves in one of the most dangerous defensive lines and rush units in the country in Miami. And the offensive line was a lot of holdovers. There was a lot of guys playing out of position. There wasn't a whole lot there after guys had transferred out, or Coach Woody just hadn't been able to establish his system yet. So it was a very makeshift line. And so when you put a guy in Luke Sprague out there who you look at as one of, if not your top quarterback option against a team like Miami, you kind of got what was coming to you. And then he got shelled. He got landed on his shoulder wrong, and he tried to fight back through it for a couple of weeks after that, but eventually just had to say shut him down. He can hardly get the ball down the field anymore. I mean, it looked like he was trying to throw a paint can, just trying to hurdle it as best as he could. Just didn't have the strength with his shoulder being banged up. But he is make no mistake about it, he is a Division I quarterback, and he is got a lot to prove this year. He's your kind of typical stay in the pocket type player. He has the footwork, but maybe not necessarily the mobility that you see out of the much more modern quarterback that's trying to get out of the pocket, that's trying to go run the ball, trying to run between the tackles. He's going to try to stay in the pocket, but if this O-line can keep him protected, he's about as accurate a quarterback as on this roster. And he's got a year of leadership behind him to kind of drive that offensive scheme that Coach Garbino is really trying to push and establish in year two.
Here's a guy that surprised everybody. He started out at Penn State, had some time at Oklahoma. Michael Bowens III has been the darling of camp so far.
And Bowens is a guy who, he's only 5'11", so he's a little bit undersized, and that's been my concern, watching him on the practice field. But my concerns have kind of ended there. It'll be interesting to see how it looks at USF this week, just because of how big the line is on the other side. So he's going to have to deal with throwing over some big dudes. And at 5'11", it can be a little bit tougher to do that. But what he might lack in a little bit of size at the QB spot, he makes up for in everything else. I mean, he drops some dimes throughout camp. He is throwing the ball all over the place. He's finding receivers. He's got a cannon on him. He can move really well. He is super physical. If he is the starter, and last year this time we had a quarterback, we had Tyleek Bethea listed as the QB1 leading into our opener at Memphis. He didn't start. Walter Simmons got the start. So we'll see if it's a little bit of gamesmanship from Coach Woody. Yeah. But if you see Bowens, I think it'll be a really fun first look for him.
Here's a guy we all looked for last year, but he had some academic problems. He's done well in the preseason camp out of Lakeland. From Mike Neese State, had some time at Georgia Southern. Cam Ransom.
Cam Ransom is you look at your quarterback room, there's a lot of different kind of athletes on here. Cam Ransom is a moose. He is a gigantic dude. He's chiseled athletically. He can smash his way through holes in the run game. He overthrew a lot of balls in camp, just maybe a little bit of working his way back into the regular flow of things, getting reps with the ones. He is very much an unknown at this point. And when it comes to actual playing time on the field, just because it's been so long since we've seen him take game action. But he is a leader behind the scenes. He gets a lot of reps with the scout team. He's always in guys' ears, giving guys his advice, his experience, trying to be that teammate for everybody else. He's got all the intangibles that you need in a leader, in a guy like that. He's got all the physicality. It's just going to be a matter of when does Coach Woody give a guy like him the reins, or does someone else get the chance in front of him and maybe take that before he has a chance?
We also have a number of great running backs, but I want to go over to the defensive side. And Willie, you played in one of the best defenses BCU's ever had back in 1972. Tell us about that squad you played on with Wesley Moore.
Well, I was looking over to when we spoke, said, well, talk about when you played. And I thought about something. We played A&M for, I think, 73, 74, and 75. I think A&M scored 2 touchdowns. So that could tell you how good our defense was. And I think in 75, I guess we gave up 63 points. We actually, when 72, Coach McLaren was the coach, and we played a 4-4. But back in those days, we didn't have a lot of passing. It was the wishbone era. So Coach Bud actually came and he installed the 52 defense. And then we ran the wishbone. So the 52 defense was designed to stop the wishbone. And we pretty much did it in the whole 3 years. I think we might have lost 6 games out of 33. Mm-hmm. So Coach Moore like 27-6, something like that. So our defense was really, really stout. And then when we had to make the adjustments when we played like Mississippi Valley, they were a passing team. They didn't have Jerry Rice back then, but they had a guy named Ricky Feature and Parnell Dickinson, who was the quarterback. So we kind of adjusted the way who we were playing. And I think we were one of the best defenses Cookman ever had. But that's been so long ago, people forget. But if you look at the record books, you'll see we were probably the best that they ever was at BCC then. But okay. I've seen some good ones after that, though. I seen the 84 team was really strong. And I hope, and even last year, our defense was pretty good.
That's where I'm headed next. Because Bryce.
Our defense, I was very pleased with them. I tell you. And I'm looking forward to coming to the games, and I hope I'm hoping we get to Atlanta. That's all I got on my mind, y'all.
All right. Bryce, like he said before, the defense was the bright spot last year. The interior defensive line, they played well. We have some adjustments at linebacker, and our secondary has some new kids, a lot of Pike 10 kids that you talked about.
Yeah, and you look at some of the guys they've lost in the offseason. There's some big names on there. Eddie Walls led you in tackles for loss, one of your top sack guys. Amari Hill-Robinson was a multiple-time all-SWAC guy at the corner spot. They did lose some big pieces, but I have no doubt that the unit is going to remain really steady, if not the top one in the SWAC. I think that starts with Dallas Corbett at the end position, 6'5", 240 out of UCF. That is a man amongst boys out there on that practice field. I mean, you walk out there and you don't have to look long before you can just see him looming over everybody out there on the practice field. He is a monster on the end. And I think you might see him start to have success as early as this Saturday night, just running down guys' throats and just doing whatever he wants to on that edge. He is a big-time player. He is a big-time get for this program, and it's going to be exciting to see what he can offer this team. But there's guys up and down this roster defensively that I think will make a big impact. You've got some returners. Steph Peterman is a guy in the secondary that was really solid last year. Same with Sheldon Quarles at the safety spot. Dearest Thomas, linebacker, all-SWAC guy. Those are three returners that are still very much going to stake their claim as leadership figures on this team, and they're going to play like it. Dearest Thomas is a guy who plays with a lot of energy. Coach always seems to be in his ear about stuff, but I think that's the way that he wants it. He plays with that emotion. He backs it up very much like we saw from Amari Hill-Robinson the last couple of years. But I think on defense, it starts with the coaching. Coach Woody is a defense-first guy, always has been. He practices discipline more than anything else. And as long as the guys are taking care of those little things, all those newcomers are not going to have any issues getting acclimated real quick and making some real damage here in the SWAC.
You know, we lost one number one, but we gained another number one. The coach's son, in secondary, he's playing safety or corner.
He lines up at safety. He has also been part of our leadership council that the team has appointed for this year, and he is a lead by example guy. He is an even keeled guy. You see kind of that Power 5 media experience transferring here from Cal. Just wanted to be a part of what his dad was building here in Daytona Beach. You know, got the chance to play out one more year. Chose to do it here, but he is every bit the part of a Power 5 safety. He's just so steady, man. He's so smooth in everything that he does. He never looks like he doesn't have a grasp on what's going on from the offense. He sees the field really well. He knows where the play needs to be made, and he's just kind of your captain on defense. You know, he's calling out plays. He's calling out what he sees on the offensive side of the ball. He's every bit the making of a captain. And you know, you look at it and you say, of course, Coach Woody's going to name his son the captain. That's a no-brainer. But he earned the captain spot. He would be a captain on any team in the country. He deserves it. He is a guy who earned it, and I have no doubt that Coach Woody probably made it even harder on him to get that captain spot, just because, you know, it's his son. It's somebody you want to push, somebody you want to make sure can be their very best. And I think the two of them should be a really exciting pair to watch.
Let's go over the schedule quickly. You know, there's been some rumblings from a couple of people, I won't call no names, about that Alabama State game, which could have been in Indianapolis at the Circle City Classic, but we're going to play them at home. Quickly, let's go over the schedule. This week we got South Florida. Next week we got Mercer. And then where do we go for week 3?
Western Michigan, longest trip of the year.
Wow. I'm looking forward to that now.
That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a long day, that one.
Mm-hmm. The week 4?
Then's when it starts getting a little interesting, I think. Then you get the back-to-back home games. Clark Atlanta will be a nice little warm-up, and then it's go time. Then you got Bama State on that 28th at home. That's a big one.
Then we go to Alabama A&M on their homecoming. We played them last season, and we had a great football game against them, and almost felt like old-time Wildcat football back in that football game.
And that's the first of 3 straight homecomings that the Wildcats are going to play in some part of. Alabama A&M scheduled us as homecoming. Mississippi Valley State scheduled us as their homecoming. And then, of course, we come home for homecoming against Jackson State. So that's 3 big-time get-up games, especially those first 2 on the road. You know, you look at it and you say, oh, they wanted us as their homecoming. That's going to fire the guys up. That's exactly what happened a couple years ago when we played Mississippi Valley State at their place. Again, it was homecoming. And you could tell that our guys came out for it. They knew exactly why that they were supposed to be there, and they took care of business.
Jackson State coming to Daytona Beach. We played them in Jacksonville the last time we were the home team. This time we got them in the jungle. What kind of atmosphere are you expecting with Willie Jackson? Got a lot going on that weekend, don't you?
Yeah, we got some things going on that weekend as, with the Champions Club. We're getting the tailgate and everything ready on Friday night. We'll be doing some things around the city, trying to bring alumni back to the fold and supporting the Wildcat athletics. But we're looking forward to it. But you know, and I know, Daryl, we got to tell the people if you come to homecoming this year, because you know Jackson State brings a lot of people. I talked to some folks in their motorhome club. I think they're bringing like 20, 25 motorhomes. I'm saying, my goodness. So we got to be ready in the stands and on the field, the play them. So we'll be ready, I think.
Just to give you a side note, Travis Hunter just scored on a 45-yard reception for Colorado. All right, after homecoming, this is usually, to me, a trap game. After homecoming, to have another home game, you know, everybody comes to Daytona for homecoming. The following week, we got Grambling Tigers coming into the jungle. Talk about that ball club, Bryce, and what they bring. They got a new coaching staff.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of transition. You know, Hugh Jackson on the way out for Grambling State, a team that's kind of struggled, never really quite put it together under his tenure. Had a lot of juice, the program did when he was there, just because of that whole NFL thing, but never quite really lived up to any of it. A team that's going to play you really hard. They travel really well. I think for the Wildcats, though, in this case, it can't be too much of a trap game because you've got a brutal stretch coming up right after. You got 2 straight road games at 2 of the better teams in the conference in Southern and Texas Southern. And then your last game is the Classic. So you've got to get your stuff together. You got to take care of business when you've got a chance to win at home. You know, one of the things we talked about just the other day in our office was that there's 5 home games for the Wildcats this year, which is the first time since 2015 that we've had that many home games. And the last time we did that, we won every single one of them and won the MEAC. So, you know, it's just another chance. Take care of business at your home turf. It's a big deal. So you can't sleep on that team. You can't sleep on any team. Take care of business at home, and you can really make a name for yourself in this conference this year.
There's some exciting things happening over on Jesse Street, and a lot of people are looking forward to this season. And we want to tell folks how do you get into the ball game? Here's some information right here. Can you go over right quick for me, Bryce?
Yes, sir. So all your various ticket packages are available now. You can get your season tickets. Just season tickets. Call the box office or find them on Ticketmaster. Single game tickets are available now too. You can find all of the links to that at bcuathletics.com. We got a big old button in the top corner that says tickets. You can click that. If you go to any of our social media platforms, we've got a link tree on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Click in that, and there'll be a nice big bold link for you to click for tickets. It's as easy as it can get. You can give us a call in the athletic comms office. We can direct you in the right spot. Wherever you need to go to find your tickets, we will get you hooked up. Same goes for parking. It's as accessible as it's ever been. It'll be fun. I mean, we know how it is. Get in early when it comes to parking. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're in your seat early to make sure you avoid some of the traffic and stuff that we have to deal with just because we got some people excited about BCU football. But yeah, wherever you can find BCU Athletics, you can find a link to buy our tickets, and they're available now. And we're ready to roll.
I know you sent out a link earlier for credentials. Is it too late now for to get credentials, or what's that situation like?
For media, our credential link is available on our football page of our website. There's a credential request button. Media, we close the doors for that the Wednesday of every game week for anybody who's interested in coming out and covering the program. If you have trouble finding that link, just shoot myself or anybody in our office an email or give us a call. We can give you hooked up with that as well. But that's the Wednesday of every game week is when we officially close credentials.
Let's kind of shift gears right now. You know, I live right on the campus. I live adjacent to the gymnasium. I pass through the campus and I see so many kids. We have a large freshman group this year. It's starting to have a little bit of pride coming in there. They're doing some stuff on campus, but also we have another sport that's in season right now, and that's the volleyball team. And let's talk about Miss Hightower and her girls.
Niara Hightower is a player to watch on this campus. It's one of the prominent names that everybody in Wildcat Nation should know heading into the entire athletic season. Forget just the fall season. Forget just volleyball. She is a force in front of the net. She is really tough to deal with. She was blocker of the year last year. She comes into this season preseason blocker of the year again. Somehow she gets snubbed and doesn't get first team all SWAC. She's buried on the second team all SWAC, even though she's blocker of the year, which, I have my questions about that whole process. But she absolutely earned it, and she's just part of this Coach Williams coaching tree where they preach this dominance in front of the net. Ever since she's been here, MEAC or SWAC, they have been one of the top blocking teams in the conference, and they've got another great group led by Niara Hightower this year. The two others you see in that picture, number 6 Riley Davis, number 5 Sydney Poston, are big leadership figures on this team, and they're gonna have another fun season. It's gonna take some better play from their outsides. They bring in a lot of new players on that side as well, to really take that offense up a notch to get them to playing for that SWAC title. But in front of the net, they are going to be dominant, and they should be a fun team to watch. We get kicked off tomorrow. As soon as I get done here, I'm gonna probably just get ready to go right to bed, because we got an early day tomorrow and a bunch of volleyball games tomorrow. We'll do 2 of them at Moore Gym for the Wildcats, and we are off and running. They got another one on Saturday, and we're ready to go.
I may stop through there for a minute tomorrow, but I got something for Willie now. Willie does a lot for BCU athletics, and they always talk about our own stadium and all that, but that's down the road. So this is what I did today. I played with a little bit of technology. I asked AI, artificial intelligence, what would a BCU football stadium look like? And this is what AI gave me. How do you like that? Bethune-Cookman Stadium. But I read an article today. Either one of you guys can ad lib on this, where BCU is trying to get naming rights, trying to sell naming rights for the municipal stadium for when we play. Is that true?
So we are in the very, very, very early stages, and it's a little bit different for Bethune-Cookman because we don't own our stadium. It's a Daytona Municipal Stadium, so the city gets a lot of that, say in all of that. But essentially, with what you read today, it's the pieces are being put in place to get the help that's necessary to start the process of selling it. So it's not so much that it's up for sale right now, but it's more so that they are putting those right pieces in place to start getting the word out there, start floating that out there. And of course, our stadium or not, it's beneficial to Wildcat fans. It's beneficial to the football program. It's just another way to bring in some extra money for the program, to help build up that stadium that could use some TLC here and there. We've outgrown it really in many ways. Especially you see that on homecoming every year when we can't hardly get everybody into the game because we don't have enough seats and parking spots to fill them. So the more that we progress in that direction, bring stuff in like that, the more that we can build the program, build the stadium, and just keep putting BCU on the map. So it's a good first step, but it's a really early step. So don't get excited about coming down to whatever stadium, Raising Cane Stadium week 1, but we'll get there.
You guys, Mike and Brian, you guys are doing a podcast on WELE. Tell us how we can hear that.
Yes, sir. Every Saturday, it'll be airing right before every football game that we do. It'll be somewhat of a pseudo pregame show. We've recorded this week's already. It's ready to go, leading you into Wildcats football at 7, so premiering around 6 o'clock, give or take, depending on our pregame show and all of our other final plans that we put into place between tonight and tomorrow. You can catch it live on 1380 WELE in Daytona Beach, streaming live on 1380 WELE's website, 1380WELEthecat.com. You can also find us on any of your major podcasting platforms, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, Amazon Music. We're everywhere. We're 2 episodes in the can right now. In episode 1, we talked about last year, kind of season in review for everybody across the department. Last week, we talked about kind of everything that's happened in the off season, and then get ready for this week. We talk about just kind of leading in, ready to go, our season previews for football, volleyball, a little bit of cross country. We give you a little bit of everything. It's been a lot of fun, but anywhere you find your podcast, anywhere you get your radio, you can find us.
Okay, a couple of years ago, Johnny Vickers and I did the Lockeroom podcast live at the Midtown Cafe. And I think I want to try to bring a couple of episodes back. And if possible, you can help us get some ball players. But here's what I'm going to be doing this season. I'm going to be doing Thursday night football, whether it's NFL or college, hosting it at the Hunt House, which is right across the street from City Hall, a block off of Beach Street. So September the 12th, I'll be hosting the Buffalo Bills backers, the Mafia, and some Miami Dolphin fans at the Hunt House. You guys, I'm giving away free cigars. We're going to have foods and drinks. And I'm thinking about, I talked to Chris Shaw today. I'm thinking about doing 1 or 2 podcasts on that Thursday night. I would love to have Willie come out on when he's in town that week, and some of the older fellas. I always connect to the older guys, because like I said, I've been around BCU football for 60 years. I know the Charlie Whites and the Terry Andersons and those guys, who played in the NFL. Nobody even know about. Charlie White played with the Jets, and Terry Anderson played with the Patriots, and guys like that. I would love to bring you guys in on a Thursday live and do a podcast. Even though Cat Eye Network will be broadcasting every game, whether it's on ESPN or not. Like today, you talked to me about Johnny Vickers. I would love to have Johnny in that booth, and I'm on the sideline. That's what I do. If we can work it out, I would love to do that. But I'm gonna always be around Wildcat football until I take my last breath. So you're gonna always have me around. Bryce, I thank you for what you do. I'm always a fill-in for baseball, football, whatever you need me. I'm not a pushy person. Whenever you need me, you just let me fill in. But I'm gonna be there.
We're happy to have you. And little update for this weekend's Cat Eye broadcast. We have gotten a handful of some sideline reporting equipment, so we will have true sideline reporting for our first game this weekend. So it should be fun. Might be some hiccups with just us figuring it out, but we got a good little team that I think's got a good grasp on it, and it should be another step up for Cat Eye Radio. We are broadcasting, like Daryl said, every single game will be live on the radio, on 1380, on YouTube. You'll be able to get it. There's a lot of listen. I'm not going to sit here and downplay what the SWAC does, what HBCU Go does, but our broadcasting crew is going to give you Wildcats football way better than any of those. So if you want to put your AAC network on and turn the volume down, put on the Cat Eye Network, put HBCU Go on so you can watch in the background, turn the volume down, put on Cat Eye Network. I promise you, the call that you get from our crew is going to be so much better than anything you're going to get from these national crews. So I encourage everybody to check us out if you haven't done it before. It's easier than ever. If you follow any of our social channels, we'll get you all the links to watch, listen, everything you need. We'll get you hooked up.
Everybody, I want you to know this is a great guy, right? You see him? This is him 24/7. This my man right here, Mr. Bryce.
Bryce,
I don't feel like that right now. But hopefully I can get there by Saturday.
News about Cat Eye Network.
Okay. So Willie, before we go, tell us again about Saturday. Where will you guys be Saturday morning in Tampa?
Okay, we'll be at the Embassy Suite at 10 o'clock for the Champions kickoff breakfast.
Which Embassy Suite? Is that on Del Mar? Where is that?
That's on West Shore Boulevard.
Okay, West Shore Boulevard.
Yeah, it's about 10 minutes from the stadium, if that. It's not far. But after the breakfast is going to probably go from like 10 to 12. And then we have the tailgate, but we're going to partner with USF, Black Alumni Association. There's a cost to get in. I think it's $20, but you can get with us or go online. I think I shared it on Facebook, so people can go there, and we're going to have a big turnout. We was hoping the band came, but they're not.
We understand. Hold on. Let's go back a minute. You talked about the band, right? Let's see.
We were hoping the band came.
Let's see. They put on a show last week in Houston.
Right.
That everybody is buzzing. The number one song in America, you had Moni Long. She sang that. You had every HBCU band singing with the Marching Wildcats. That was incredible. But the Wildcats won't be in Tampa because South Florida is having high school band day. So the Cats are getting ready to go to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Queen City Battle of the Bands. So here's what HBCUs are doing now. They're going to the Battle of the Bands. Those are their showcases. Not many college bands are traveling during the season to battle. Most of the games you go to, the home team's band will be there because it costs to move those big bands right now. So the Cats won't be on the road with South Florida. They will be in the Queen City of Charlotte, I think Labor Day. So look out for this band. They are powerful this year, along with the football team. We're looking for some great things at BCU. We got some no sports coming up in the fall. You got basketball coming up. Coach Steels has rearranged some things. We got some kids coming in that's really going to enjoy playing in the Asylum at Moore's Gymnasium. And the baseball team, those cats really got some ball players coming in. We out of time. Definitely never out of word. Want to thank Bryce and Willie for coming on. You've been listening to the Locker Room podcast. Good night.
All righty. Thanks, Daryl.
All righty.
Thank you, guys.
Bryce, I'm going to see you.